You are welcome to the calculus course for Year 1 students in Nigerian universities. In this course, we are going to consider functions, limits and continuity, differentiation and applications, integration and applications. Then finally, in the last module, Module 5, we'll look at shortcuts and calculator approach to calculus or questions in calculus. So considering functions, in functions we will consider the different types of functions, and I will try and look at the definition of function before that. Then we also consider things like the domain and range of a function. Then at the peak of it, we would consider the inverse of a function, the composition of a function. Then while in Module 2, limits and continuity, we'll try and understand what our limit is. We also understand what the continuity of a function at a point is all about, and what continuity of a function, on an interval is actually all about. We'll consider some functions like the compound functions and other common functions that are in calculus. Then in Module 3, which is differentiation and applications, we are going to consider what the derivative is all about. We'll get the definition of derivative. Then I would make you understand the different methods of differentiation. Then of course we'll consider the differentiation of implicit functions. Then parametric functions, the derivative of parametric functions will also be looked at. Then at the top of it we'll consider the method, the application of differentiation, where we would consider the slope, the slope of a function at a point. Then the slope of normals and tangents, the equations of normals and tangents. Then the application of differentiation as it applies to motion would also be considered, where we would define velocity using differentiation. We'll consider functions like acceleration as a function of time. Those things would be considered also. Then we'll go into Module 4, where we'll be talking about integration. In integration, we are going to look at what we call the antiderivative. The antiderivative of a function will be well considered. Then we'll try and know what we mean by the particular and general solution of an integral. Then we'll look at the definite and the indefinite integral. Then of course, we'll look at the methods of integration, some integrable functions, and the methods of common methods of integration that could be applied. Then at the top of it, we'll look at the application of integration. Basically, we'll be looking at the area under a curve. We'll consider also the volume of the solid of revolution by using the shell method and the Dix method. Then at the end of the course, in Module 5, we would consider the shortcuts approaches to solving calculus questions. We'll consider the calculator approach also. Then we'll solve a good number of questions. So this is all this course is all about. My name is London Okorigwe, also known as Sir Method.